Hey, thanks for joining us. There is an old adage that says, preach the gospel at all times, and if necessary, use words. Now, while this thought can sometimes be used as an excuse for not talking about Jesus, it does make a good point that our words are strengthened by our actions. Sharing the gospel is not limited to words or actions exclusively, but both supporting each other. Just modelling how Jesus lived is a great method for raising curiosity about Jesus and a great way to strengthen the words that we do say. Jesus is the best example of how to raise spiritual intrigue. Think about his life and the different situations we read about in the Gospels. In so many of his interactions, we see him masterfully leverage the power of curiosity. When expected to judge, Jesus wouldn't. Check the story of the woman caught in adultery in the Gospel of John. He would shock people by showing up in the most unlikely of places. When others thought he should be attending to religious matters, he was out having dinner with prostitutes and thieves. And rather than staying unapproachable on the fringes of community, Jesus always was at the centre of it. Our role as followers of Jesus is simple. Be like Jesus and encourage others to do the same. C.S. Lewis put it like this: the church exists for nothing else but to draw men into Christ, to make them little Christs. Culture tells us that we're all on a spiritual journey and that all journeys are equally valid. And while this is partly true in that we're all on a spiritual journey, as Christians, we ought to be able to show the distinctiveness of Jesus and how incredible his saving grace is through the way we live our lives. It's interesting to look back over the centuries and see how Christians have surprised their contemporaries by mimicking the example of Jesus. You know, instead of doing what was popular, like for example during seasons of national epidemics, we've seen Christians who have built a name for themselves being the only ones who are willing to help the sick. Actions like these not only model the choices that Jesus would have made, but they also challenge the mindsets of the day, powerfully demonstrating that our own life must always be regarded as less important than that of our neighbour. I encourage you to take some time to read the stories of Jesus' life and to ask the Holy Spirit to show you how he raised curiosity in the way that he lived his life. Then prayerfully consider how you can apply this to your own life. And be encouraged, there are no rules here. It might look like a small act of kindness or generosity toward a friend. It might mean having dinner with people who you don't necessarily agree with. It might be intentionally and regularly checking in with somebody who you know is going through a rough season in their life. Whatever it is, there will always be an element of hesitation, so just take a deep breath and do it anyway. When it comes to raising curiosity, taking a leaf out of Jesus' book and modelling his nature, his habits, and his practices removes all the pressure, shifting our focus from having the right words to just being more like Jesus. It gives us freedom to just be ourselves. Living lives genuinely inspired by Jesus is a great way to make our friends curious about what it looks like to follow him.